What is up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today we're getting into my February 17th Bracketology Predictions. Another crazy week. Not as crazy as the weekend, but past 3 days have been pretty darn crazy. So, top overall seed, Alabama went down to Tennessee on the road. Tough game, but going to be staying there. First team out, we got Mississippi State. Tough loss to Kentucky over the week. And then the last team in is Clemson, benefiting from Mississippi State. All right, so if we look at the last four buys, Nevada staying at the top, Boise State, and then we got Memphis, and then West Virginia. The last four in, as I mentioned, Kentucky getting a big win to get back into the last four in against Mississippi State. North Carolina, Wisconsin beating I want to say Michigan. Yeah, Michigan yesterday, I believe. So big win for Wisconsin, and then Clemson. There is Mississippi State there. USC, Oregon losing to Washington last night. That's a tough loss for them. They could have been in the field most likely if they won that game. And then Charleston, and then next four out, New Mexico has lost four straight and five of the last 6 games. It's been a struggle for New Mexico right now. They're not playing good, and they find themselves in a tough spot out of the bubble. And then we got Seton Hall, Utah State, and then Wake Forest down there. All right, but if you look at the full bracket here, we got Kentucky new to the field at the 11th seed, as well as Wisconsin new to the field. In the South region, Alabama, as I mentioned, losing to Tennessee, but they're going to be staying the number 1 overall seed there. Oklahoma State, tough loss to Kansas, battled hard, but just couldn't come up on top in that game. Going to be dropping down to a 9 seed. Indiana also fought back against Northwestern. They were down by, I want to say 20, somewhere around there, and they battled back. Trace Jackson Davis, unbelievable game, but it was not enough. Northwestern got a buzzer beater shot. And then Drake going to be jumping up to a 12 seed, and then Miami coming up to a 4 seed. And then we got Eastern Washington jumping up to a 14 seed. Arkansas losing to Texas A&M, going to be dropping down to a 10 seed. And then Youngstown State new to the field at 15. In the Midwest region, Houston at the number 1 seed here, and then Rutgers dropping down to an 8 seed, just are struggling right now. I believe they lost to Nebraska. Texas A&M going to be jumping up to a 9 seed. As I mentioned, beating Arkansas. Xavier dropping down to a 4 seed, had a tough loss. Nearly won against Marquette. Could not come up on top, though. And then VCU going to be jumping up to a 12 seed. Southern Mississippi going to be dropping down to a 13 seed, as well as Illinois falling to a 6 seed. And then we got Providence jumping up to a 7 seed, getting a big win in double overtime against Creighton. Boise State going to be jumping up to a 10 seed. Then we have Kennesaw State new to the field at a 15. And then here down in the East region, we got Kansas as the 1 seed. Rider going to be dropping down to a 16 seed. We got Missouri dropping down to an 8. St. Mary's going to be jumping up to a 5 seed. We have Hofstra jumping up to a 13 seed, and Missouri, forgot to mention this, but got pummeled by Auburn in their last game. And then, as I mentioned, Northwestern, huge win against Indiana, 2 top 15 teams that they've beaten in Purdue and Indiana in a row. Big-time wins for that program. And then West Virginia going to be dropping down to 11 seed. And Florida Atlantic losing to, who was it? It's slipping my mind, guys. I'm sorry. But they lost to someone in their conference. Someone with an M. I know that. I just can't think of it right now. Sorry about that, guys. All right, but in the West region, we got Purdue losing to Northwestern, as I mentioned. They're struggling. They've lost 3 of the last 4 games. Kind of been exposed over the past few. Then we have Auburn going to be jumping up to an 8 seed. Gonzaga getting the revenge on LMU last night, jumping up to a 3 seed. Maryland just, as I mentioned, beating Purdue. Wait, did I mention that? I'm not sure if I mentioned that, but yeah, Maryland beat Purdue. And then Samford going to be new to the field at a 15. All right. Let's look at the full-on bracket here now. Starting out with the first 4 games, we got Kentucky against North Carolina. I'm going to go with Kentucky there, although that's a good matchup. And that is wrongly spelled. My bad. And then we have Fairleigh Dickinson beating Alcorn State. We have Wisconsin beating Clemson there, as well as Morehead State beating Howard. All right, so let's look at the full bracket. Starting at the round of 64, Alabama will be able to handle their business against Fairleigh Dickinson. I'm going to go with the slight 9/8 upset here, Oklahoma State. Good team out of the Big 12. I think that they could beat NC State there. Indiana, I do think, can hold off Drake, as well as Miami beating Utah Valley. Iowa, I think, can pull off the win over Kentucky, as well as Marquette beating Eastern Washington. Really good matchup here, but I'm going to go with San Diego State. I think that they're, let's go San Diego State. Arkansas is struggling. And then Baylor, I think, could beat Youngstown State. All right, over here, we got Purdue pulling off the win over Morehead State. Auburn, I think, can beat Pittsburgh there, as well as Creighton beating Oral Roberts. Iowa State, I think, could hold off Yale and TCU. That could be an upset, but I'm going with TCU there. And then Gonzaga, I think, can beat UC Irvine. Maryland against Nevada. I really do like both these teams a lot. But if I had to pick one right now, Maryland's playing too good. I'm going with the Terps, and then UCLA could beat Sanford. So only one slight upset with the 9 seed Oklahoma State here. But yeah, I mean, just do not see a lot of upsets happening. Oral Roberts a really good 12 seed, but I don't think that they're going to be able to beat Creighton. I think Creighton's too good of a team. Maybe Wisconsin over TCU, or maybe even Kentucky over Iowa, but I don't see those happening. So unfortunately, I'm going to have no upsets besides that one 8 over 9, if you want to call that an upset. All right, let's go over here, though. Houston, I think, could beat Texas A&M Corpus Christi. Texas A&M, I think, could hold off Rutgers, so we got 2 Texas A&M schools there. I'm going to go with the first big upset here. Let's go with VCU to pull off the win over Xavier. Xavier's kind of an iffy team for me. They're kind of been inconsistent this year, and VCU, good 12 seed out of the A10. I'm going with the upset. Kansas State, I do think, could beat Southern Mississippi. And then I'm going to go with another upset. Memphis, I think, could beat Illinois. Memphis, really good 11 seed there in Illinois. Kind of another one of those iffy teams that I'm not sold on right now. And I think that Memphis can win. And Tennessee, I think, could beat Vermont. Providence, I think, could hold off Boise State. So we've had no 10 seeds winning. And then Texas, I think, could beat Keenshaw State. All right, let's go over here. We got Kansas against Rider. I'm going with Kansas there. Missouri against Duke. I'm going to go with the 8-seeded Missouri, even though they played bad in their last game. St. Mary's, I think, can pull off the win over Kent State. And then I'm going to go with a big upset here. Yeah, let's do it. Okay, never mind. Sorry, guys. I'm going UConn there. I'm just not sold on Hofstra as a 13 seed. I think that UConn is a good enough team to win that one. And the Northwest is playing good basketball right now. I'm going with them to win. And Virginia, I think, could beat Colgate. Then I'm going to go with the 10 over 7 upset here. Let's go with Florida Atlantic to pull off the win over Michigan State, even though they lost last night. And then Arizona, I think, could beat UNC Asheville. All right. So not as much upsets as I would want in the first round, but we'll see if that changes in the second round. Alabama, I do think, could beat Oklahoma State. Indiana against Miami, 2 good teams, but I'm going to go with the 5-seeded Indiana. And then I'm going to go with an upset pick here. Let's go with Iowa to beat Marquette. Marquette, really good team there, but Iowa, I like them just a little bit better here as a 6 seed. They're coming alive. Baylor gets San Diego State. I'm going with Baylor. And then down here, I do think that Purdue, even though with their struggles, can pull off Auburn. Creighton against Iowa State. Iowa State's kind of been an iffy team, but so is Creighton. I'm going to go with the Blue Jays, though. I like them just slightly better. I'm going to go with another upset pick here. Let's go with TCU to beat Gonzaga. So 2 6 seeds advancing. I like these 6 seeds in these brackets so far. TCU, really good team. I know they've lost a few games. They just lost to Iowa State last night. I believe so, or a couple nights ago. It was either Iowa State or Kansas State. I can't remember. But, TCU, They're injured up right now. If they can be healthy for the tournament, I think that they could pull off some wins. And Gonzaga, obviously, they are Gonzaga. They're a really good team, but I think that this is not their year. And then I'm going to go with another big upset pick here. Let's go with Maryland to beat UCLA. I don't know. UCLA just barely survived against Stanford last night. Didn't play great. Maryland, we obviously know what they're capable of right now. I don't believe in UCLA. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm going with Maryland to pull off the win. And I think that either one of Maryland or Nevada would be able to beat UCLA. Unfortunately, though, I think that Nevada will lose against Maryland. All right, and then Houston against Texas A&M. I'm going with the Cougars there, and then Kansas State I do think can hold off VCU. Tennessee I think can beat Memphis. And then Texas against Providence, I'm going with Texas. So all chalk in that region in the second round. We got Kansas beating Missouri there. Not a big fan of either of these teams, but if I had to pick one, I'm going to go with UConn to beat St. Mary's. I'm going to go with another 6 seed beating here, Northwestern, beating Virginia. I just am not a big fan of Virginia. I know they're a really good team, but I think that they could get upset in the first round. So I think that team is going to be Northwestern. They're playing really good in the Big Ten. And then Arizona, I do think could beat Florida Atlantic. All right. So for a spot in the Sweet 16, we got Alabama, we got Indiana. We had these two matched up last time. I did pick Alabama. I'm going to switch it up here. I'm going with Indiana. Alabama went to the championship game, won it all last time, but it's just how the bracket shakes up, you know. You got to switch up some picks here. Indiana's a really good team. I think that they can go to the Elite Eight here and beat Alabama. Iowa against Baylor. I'm going to go with the Bears to win there. And then Purdue against Creighton. I'm going to go with No, I still believe in Purdue. I know they've struggled here, but I'm going with Purdue to beat Creighton. And then TCU against Maryland. I'm going to go with the 7-seeded Maryland. So we got a rematch between Purdue and Maryland there. Interesting. All right, Houston against Kansas State. I'm going to go with the 4 seed over the 1 seed here. Kansas State pulling off the win. I believe Kansas State lost last night, but I still think that they're a really good team. You know, I mean, the Big 12, it's just the Big 12. You're going to lose some games in there. It's just such a good conference. Houston, really good team, but I'm going Kansas State. And then Tennessee against Texas. The 2 seed versus the 3 seed there. Tennessee played well in their last game, but I like Texas a little bit more. So we got a few conference matchups here. Big 12, Big 10. It's been Big 10 and Big 12 all the way. We got 3 Big 10 teams and 3 Big 12 teams. Let's see if that changes here. Kansas against UConn. I am going with Kansas. And then Northwestern against Arizona. I am going with Arizona. So we only have one other school that's outside of the Big 10 or the Big 12 here, with Arizona in the Pac-12 advancing on. That's interesting how that all paired up, but it's how I see it, I guess, in this bracket. All right, so for a spot in the Elite Eight, we got Indiana, we got Baylor. 2 really good teams there, but I'm going to go with the Bears to advance to the Final Four. I just think that they're slightly better. And then Purdue against Maryland. Purdue, I do think, will be able to adjust and get their revenge on Maryland. That would be a very good run, though, for the Terps to advance onto the Final Four. Kansas State against Texas. I'm going with the 2-seeded Texas in that game. And then we got Kansas against Arizona. I'm going to go with the 2 seed. I know Arizona's been a little bit iffy, but I still believe in this Arizona squad. I have them in the Final Four. So we got 3 2 seeds here in Baylor, Texas, and Arizona. And we got Purdue, 2 Big 12 teams, 1 Pac-12 team, and 1 Big 10 team. So Baylor against Purdue here for a spot in the national championship game. I'm going to go with Baylor. The Bears, I think, are a very good team. I think that they can advance to the championship. And then Texas versus Arizona. I'm going to go with the 2-seeded Arizona to advance on past the Longhorns. All right, so the national champion here, we got Baylor, we got Arizona. Let's give Baylor some love here. I like them a lot. I'm going with the Bears. Anyways, thank you all for watching this video today. Hope you all enjoyed the content. Comment down below your predictions. I'm so excited for March Madness. So anyway, guys, peace